did he feel coming to the field today?
Yeah, I don't have an update on Kyle. We're just going to kind of give him the day, and just I think we got 48 hours the way I see it, from today, so through tomorrow. So, we'll kind of he'll just get treatment, and we'll check on him and see how he's doing Friday morning.
Is that a tough conversation with him, or
How so?
Well, he said yesterday, we'll see how today is when he came in.
Yeah, from my perspective, like, we're giving him the day off today, so I want to give us time to let him feel better. So constantly checking on him's, yeah, not a tough conversation. No.
I guess that's probably one thing I wanted to ask you about, and that is, even though you've had injured pitchers this year, the starting lineup pretty much all year except for Amaya has been there every single day. What kind of an advantage has that been for you guys?
Yeah. It's a place that, and I think it's a part of. I think we have some players that are really good at it, and I think Dansby and Ian are great examples. Especially Dansby. I think you look at his 3 years as a Chicago Cub, and you look at the number of games that he's played as a Chicago Cub, like with the number of games in a season, and it's really impressive at a pretty physically demanding position. And so, one of Dansby's great traits is, and sometimes we don't get excited enough about this, is of his availability every single day. What that does for your roster and your defense and just your everyday kind of, it's really important. And I think we've got a bunch of guys that have played a lot of games this year, and it's made us a better team.
He not being in the lineup, is he dealing with anything?
No. Just the thought was, really we're kind of giving him a chance with the off day here is to give him a real break, and to just kind of give him a reset a little bit. He didn't do anything yesterday, so it was kind of like a full off day. Obviously, he played in the ninth inning, but didn't hit at all yesterday. Really took the day off from hitting. So he'll do his kind of normal work today, and then obviously have tomorrow off as well. And so just to get him a physical and mental break, and then go into the last, essentially 3.5 weeks of the season, hopefully a little bit refreshed.
How did he take that idea? I assume this was presented to him before yesterday?
Yeah, I think Pete wanted to play, but I think we thought, and I thought it was the best idea to. I looked at this really, frankly, early in the road trip and thinking, like, where could we get Pete a break? Just as the road trip kind of went on, it became apparent that, obvious to me that we should use this opportunity to get him a little break.
With Nico starting or leading off against a righty, is that more about their pitcher, or is that something that you might?
No. It's. Kyle and Pete aren't playing, and so our lineup is just going to look a little different.
Is there an update on Amaya? Is he starting to move around yet?
Yeah, we've kind of plateaued, I would say. So he's still got some swelling in his ankle, and he's not pain free necessarily. So the nature of ankle sprains is that's kind of what you get in ankle sprains. So, this week has been, we've had to back off some things, frankly, just as you try to just go forward, and we've found like we've got to stop and we can't go forward. So, just the nature of an ankle sprain. You get to a place, then you got to slow down a little bit and let some healing take place. So, nothing has changed as far as timetable, but hasn't made a lot of progress this week.
Craig, how much do the standings, or do you ignore the standings when you make these playing time decisions? In other words, the division's in reach, but you have a huge wild card lead, all these things happening. Do you just ignore that and do what's best for the player in the moment and your team?
Yeah, I think, look, none of it's like black and white. I do think I think you do what's best for the player first. Always do what's best for the player, and then you have other considerations. But you learn you learn lessons doing this that it's one game, and the benefit outweighs it sometimes as much as you want guys you want your best players out there. There's been examples that I've learned from in the past that you do what's right for the player and you're not making a mistake.
Seems to be some fortification of the minor league players being signed, some veterans. What have you seen that work before in your career as a manager, where guys who weren't even with the organization in the minor leagues were called up within the last week or 10 days to help in a certain area?
Yeah, I think at this point, when you see players signed to go to Iowa, we're just looking for, those are kind of scenarios where something you don't really plan on happening happens, and you just want to make sure that you have players that could fill in. So it's worst case scenario planning, but you still have to do it and still have to plan for it, and just in case. It's just in case stuff.